Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to see is true. 2 Algebra 1 classrooms will be represented by a team of teachers who have implemented station rotation. This is their story. Typically, the teachers deliver new content on Monday and Tuesdays through traditional class notes. Wednesdays are review days. Thursdays are test days. And Fridays are reserved for remediation and reteaching. Every other Wednesday, the review days consist of station rotations. This scheduling is intentional so students know the routines to follow. But they aren't doing stations so often that the students become bored. For review days, the team meets together beforehand to plan the station activities, and they meet again afterwards to reflect on how they went.
Okay, so we are doing one station of linear where it has the graph, the table, the equation, and the slope and y-intercept where they have to identify them. So we'll cut those out and they'll match those. And then the topic of the station that's going to be our topic of need is going to be the inequalities. Solving and graphing inequalities just in one variable or one variable and compound, is it?
Yes.
The first page is all one variable, the second page is compound.
Awesome.
Okay. And so I made a copy for each student of this because I felt like, since it's an area of need, we need to kind of see their actual work. So that's something I've got to have for both of our classes.
All right. And then our station of new stuff is the rule of fours.
Okay, so I did this a little differently because I was like, I don't know if we need to have a whole packet of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it on cardstock and put it in a sheet protector and got the fine point markers so they could dry erase and do everything on it. We can kind of check. So I've got 3 notebooks of these per class so that, it's kind of.
Yeah.
Are we going to do that in 2 stations or 1 station? For the sake of time, because remember, one set of them is given the equation and one set of them is given the table values.
And I've got more folders if we wanted to pull these out and have this at a different, or we can just not put them in folders if it's just the one sheet.
If it's just the one sheet, then they can just keep the one sheet at the station. 2 stations might be good. That way they can focus on one.
Okay.
I think the rotation needs to be
This.
1 with the equations only,
Uh-huh.
then go to what we need to review that we're struggling on in our tests, then go to the matching activity, then come back to a rule of 4, so every other one is a rule of 4.
Yeah,
If that works.
that. Okay.
So we're talking about 4 stations, we're talking about no more than 4 kids in a station.
And so when we're talking about grouping, how do we want to group this week? Because the last time I did it ability-wise, but I think this one might actually work better if we mixed up the ability.
Yep.
So I'll almost try to put mine in pairs and then place those pairs at a station. They won't know that they're in pairs, but that's what I will do.
Yep.
So 10-minute stations go fast, but I think that it helps to keep their attention because their attention span is so short. So we'll have this and we'll have the functions. So the 4 stations, mixed ability.
I've got
Your pre-algebra ones.
a game.
Below.
It's a Connect 4 game.
Yep.
And they'll have to solve a problem. If they solve it correctly, they get to get that spot, and they want to connect 4 spots in a row. I will probably have to spend a little more time over there with them, getting them going on that.
Some management tips include: keep the groups of students small. Have a timer that is visible to the students. Plan enough work in at least 1 station that you don't expect students to have time to finish. And include accountability pieces, variation, and different modalities.
So you're going to work through this. This is a paper and pencil one, so you will write directly on this, you will put your name on it, and you will turn it in at that desk. It's front and back.
Okay, make sure you group all.
This station is like the green station over there. We have the rule of 4 sheets with the linear equation. You will be filling it out, giving them the information. When you finish one side and you have your name on it, you will take a picture here with the iPad and then erase and do the other side. This station's the one that gave first period the most trouble. You get a baggie. In the baggie are different types of cards. You will have a graph. You will have a chart. You will have a equation, an equation, not a equation. And you will have a slope y-intercept card. Then you're going to match up. The 4 pieces go together to make a match. Here. Anybody have a question on what they're doing at their center? Okay. We're going to start with 9 minutes, and you will rotate clockwise. Okay? Go.
Doing the directions, like it said step-by-step directions. Okay, put them into 4 piles, and they weren't doing that. And then at first they weren't even working in pairs, so you could tell they really didn't read the directions. So once we figured that out, we started pointing it out every time. And Nick made sure to kind of man that station. So I think it was, the part I liked about it was that the matching the slope and y-intercept with the equation, all students could do that, right? And it was, I thought it was good practice because some of mine get them confused. The part where it started to get harder is when you had to bring in the table and the graph. And I think that it was good for pushing our top students that we tend to have a problem to push. So I think it was good pushing them, but I think that it was a little bit too hard, and I agree that it was a little bit too long. There were 10 different equations, and I think that if we would have made it like 6, it would have made it a little bit more doable.
Even 4.
Well, kids didn't get through but 3 of them.
What I found is they didn't want to take the time to figure out what the change was in the table.
I wonder if maybe if we because mine are so used to drawing on it, I wonder if maybe if we laminated it and they could go through and find the change then, if that might make it any easier.
And that might.
That's true.
That might would help.
They did want to write on it.
So that would have helped. And then the graph, they were like, I don't know.
I know,
but
and I always think
pointed out.
Yes, if we
y-intercept, find that, then they seem to do a little better.
I agree. And maybe if we were to put the actual points on the graph.
Or if we could draw on the graph too, so they could go plug -7 and see if it touched the line.
Yes. So I need to get these laminated for the next time we use it and cut them out.
And I think that this is something that we could probably use again this year. Maybe not in a 10-minute station, but I think if we were to laminate it and they could write on it and be a little bit more physical with the materials, I think it might be a
So
lot
I'll
better.
get these laminated and have them ready, so let me get yours back from you.
Okay.
I thought this went well with the inequalities. I think, they all worked hard and did that. Paper and pencil, they were
Used to it. That's something they're so it's a familiar.
Okay.
Top kids there would need to be pushed a little bit more in that
more.
station because they got done too quick.
These, they were done in like 3 minutes.
So that's what we had ours carry this paper around with them. So if they had the station before that, they were able to work on this. But if they didn't have the station before that, they didn't have anything to work on, and I agree. I did push mine a little bit more to work in groups, help their partners out, the fast finishers, because remember we tried to do the mixed ability grouping. So I tried to push mine a little bit more in, okay, well, why don't you go ahead and help Michael, since Michael's still not done with it, see if he needs any help, or if you see that he's done something wrong, maybe help point him in the right direction. So that helped a little bit, but I agree our top students generally finished pretty quick.
Right.
They did, I feel like they got more into it. It's crazy
Mhm.
how just being able to use that whiteboard, doing something different. I mean, it's still on a piece of paper, but they were just using a marker. I think that my students were a lot more into it than what we do in class on a daily basis.
And they loved taking pictures.
I agree.
With the iPad.
And now we
Whatever,
have the
taking
evidence.
pictures.
The other thing is that not all of them have the spot at the top to write names. So I noticed
Right.
when I was looking through the pictures, not everybody put a name on it, even though we tried to reiterate it.
Mhm.
Not everybody did it. So I think in the future we might want to make
Make a
sure
name
there's a
place.
name spot up there so they
Yeah.
remember.
I told them to put it in this box.
That's where most of mine put it too.
So, because we really didn't have anything they needed to do.
No.
But I
As
think
far as
overall it went
productivity,
well.
those were that we had most. We were more productive in these stations than
Right.
anything else,
I
which is
agree.
good because that's what we really needed to be productive.
Yep.
Mhm.
And now by taking the pictures, we have the evidence of being able to go through and physically look at, okay, who got it and who didn't get it.
Right.